Good morning, everybody out there in Facebook world. This is my first live video ever, and I've decided that I want to start doing a live Bible study every morning. So you can tune in and study with me if you want, and I'll tell you what scriptures I'm reading and all that. You can read along with me. I'm getting a little bit later start today than I wanted to, so tomorrow and the rest of this week I'll probably start about 6:30. So if you want to get up a little earlier and read and study with me, that would be cool. So today I'm talking about if God is real, then why do bad things happen? Because that's one of the biggest things that I hear people say, that these people don't believe in God because something bad happened to them. They don't understand how if God is real, then why would he let this bad thing happen to me? Why would he let my husband leave me? Why would he let this person that I love so much die? Why would he take this person from me? Why did I have to grow up without a father? Why did I have to grow up without a mother? There's so much suffering in this world and so many bad things that happen to good people, and sometimes people don't understand why, if God is real, he would let these things happen. So I wanted to talk about that this morning, and I'm reading a book right now. I've been reading it for a while. I'm reading like 10 books at one time. So I read a little bit of one thing and then I read something else. I jump around a lot. So one thing I've been reading is this book. It's called Mere Christianity. It's by C.S. Lewis, who is an awesome author. I really enjoy his writings. So this book goes over all of the things about Christianity, and it's really good. So in this chapter, this is chapter 3, and it's called The Shocking Alternative. I want to read a little bit from this chapter for you. So, okay. Christians then believe that an evil power has made himself for the present the prince of this world, and of course that raises problems. Is this state of affairs in accordance with God's will or not? If it is, he is a strange God, you will say, and if it is not, how can anything happen contrary to the will of a being with absolute power? But anyone who has been in authority knows how a thing can be in accordance with your will in one way and not in another. It may be quite sensible for a mother to say to the children, "I'm not going to go and make you tidy the schoolroom every night. You've got to learn to keep it tidy on your own." Then she goes up one night and finds the teddy bear and the ink and the French grammar all lying in the grate. This is an old book. That is against her will. She would prefer the children to be tidy. But on the other hand, it is her will which has left the children free to be untidy. The same thing arises in any regiment or trade union or school. You make a thing voluntary and then half the people do not do it. That is not what you willed, but your will has made it possible. It's probably the same in the universe. God created things which had free will. That means creatures which can go either wrong or right. Some people think they can imagine a creature which was free but had no possibility of going wrong. I cannot. If a thing is free to be good, it is also free to be bad, and free will is what has made evil possible. Why then did God give them free will? Because free will, though it makes evil possible, is also the only thing that makes possible any love or goodness or joy worth having. A world of automata, of creatures that worked like machines, would hardly be worth creating. The happiness which God designs for his higher creatures is the happiness of being freely, voluntarily united to him and to each other in an ecstasy of love and delight, compared with which the most rapturous love between a man and a woman on this earth is mere milk and water. And for that they must be free. Of course, God knew what would happen if they used their freedom the wrong way. Apparently, he thought it worth the risk. Perhaps we feel inclined to disagree with him, but there is a difficulty about disagreeing with God. He's the source from which all your reasoning power comes. You could not be wrong, or you could not be right, and he wrong, any more than a stream can rise higher than its own source. When you are arguing against him, you are arguing against the very power that makes you able to argue at all. It is like cutting off the branch you are sitting on. If God thinks this state of war in the universe a price worth paying for free will, that is, for making a live world in which creatures can do real good or harm and something of real importance can happen, instead of a toy world which only moves when he pulls the strings, then we may take it is worth paying. When we have understood about free will, we shall see how silly it is to ask, as someone once asked me, why did God make a creature of such rotten stuff that it went wrong? The better stuff a creature is made of, the cleverer and stronger and freer it is, then the better it will be if it goes right. But also the worse it will be if it goes wrong. A cow cannot be very good or very bad. A dog can be both better and worse. A child better and worse still. An ordinary man still more so. A man of genius still more so. A superhuman spirit best or worst of all. So the point of that is God didn't want to make us have no free will, because then what would be the point in making us? It would just be a bunch of puppets, basically, toys walking around with no free will. So if you wanted to live in a world where everything was perfect, then you would have been living in a world where you had no free will to choose whether to serve God or not. And he wanted us to choose on our own, because like C.S. Lewis said, if we can't choose on our own, then it's not love. We don't love him. If we are forced to love him, it's not real love. And any of you out there who've ever been in a relationship know that you don't want to have to try to force someone to love you or to be in a relationship with you. You want them to do that on their own. And if you have to force someone to be in a relationship with you, then it's not real, and it loses everything about it that's supposed to make love what it is, right? You want to be in a relationship with someone who loves you out of their own free will because they choose to love you. And so that's why God gave us free will, because he wanted us to choose to love him. And he wants everyone to choose to love him. He wants everyone to come to him, no matter who they are, what they've done, where they've been, what kind of wrong things they've done. It doesn't matter. He wants us all to come to him. He gives us that free will because he loves us. He loves us so much that he gave us free will. If you've ever heard that saying, if you love something, set it free, and if it's meant to be, it'll come back to you. I heard that a lot when I was a kid, and it's really true, and it kind of applies the same with God. He loves us so much that he gives us the free will to choose whether or not to be in a relationship with him. So with that free will comes the choice to do good or bad, to do right or wrong. So there's a lot of people in this world that choose wrong, and they choose bad. They choose evil. So that's why there's evil in the world, not because God created evil, but because God created free will, because he loves you. So if you've ever been a victim of evil, which I'm pretty sure everybody has, if you've ever been a victim of something like that and wondered, why did God let this happen to me? The answer is because we live in a fallen world, and there's evil in this world because God gave humans free will. So the thing to rejoice about, if you know God and you love God, if you have a relationship with Jesus, when those bad things happen to you, you can rejoice, because God allows us to go through trials and tribulations for a reason. Even though we don't understand the reason at the time, we don't understand, why is this happening to me? Why did you take this person from me? How could you let this bad thing happen to me? God, I thought you loved me. But the truth is that he sees the end from the beginning, and he knows everything. He knows everything, and he uses those bad things to work on us and to refine us and to change us for the better. And the Bible says in Romans 8:28 that he uses all things, he works all things to the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So if you love God and you're going through a trial and something bad's happened to you, know that he's going to work everything out for your good and for his glory. And I've been through a lot of situations like that myself. And I've had really, really dark times in my life where I was suicidal, and I was mad at God, and I yelled at God, and I didn't understand why he let things happen to me. That I didn't understand why he wouldn't bring me someone to love. I wanted to be loved, and I wanted to love someone so badly. And I tried to make all these relationships work out, and none of them would work out. And no matter what I did or how hard I tried, it was just like I knew it was him. He wouldn't let him work out. And I also was a singer in country music in Nashville for a few years, and it seemed like I had all the right opportunities, all the right connections. I had so many people that came and said they were going to help me and do this and that, and yet nothing worked out. And finally it got to a point where I felt like I was beating my head against the wall, and I was like, God, why won't you let this work out for me? I don't understand. Why did you give me the ability to sing and play guitar and write songs if you didn't want me to make music? I don't understand. And so I was mad, and I kept seeing people that I knew make it and get places with their music, and I didn't understand. And so finally that brought me to I know that's not a really bad thing that happened to me, it's just something I just thought of and wanted to talk about. But anyway, that brought me to my knees, because I finally said, okay, obviously if God doesn't want this to happen, he's not going to let it happen. It's not going to happen. So I finally decided to give that up. And I finally said, okay, God, I just want you to lead me. Whatever you want to happen, whatever you want me to do, just lead me there and I'll go. I'll do what you want me to do. And at that time, it was really hard for me. And I went through a really dark place in my life because I felt hopeless. I felt like I was too old to make it in music, and that was why I hadn't made it. And I felt like I missed my chance, and that my life was meaningless and purposeless, and that I was not going to ever get anywhere with my life. And so I went through some hard times like that, and some shaking times, and I ended up basically not even having a place to live anymore. And I wondered why God let that happen to me. I was alone. I had no one. I had nowhere to go. I felt like I didn't have a place in the world. I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't understand why God had brought me to this earth if I was just going to be here and not be able to make it in music or have someone to love, like the things I wanted in my life. Why wasn't he going to let those happen to me? Why was I even here, And I was mad at him, like I said, and I yelled at him, and I was like, why are you doing this? Why is my life like this? Why am I even here? And through all of that, even though I was discouraged and I was mad at God, he still came through for me. And now, where I'm at right now, I look back and I look at all of that, and I see that in my darkest time, when I was suicidal, when I was so lonely and miserable and hopeless and thought my life was without meaning, he had a plan for me. And all I had to do was just give up my will and ask him for his will to be done. And when I did that, it was like I still had to go through more things and stuff, but eventually he led me to where I'm at right now, and I know where I am right now is the best place, and I could not ask for anything better. His plan is so much better than my plan was. No, I didn't make it in country music. I walked away from country music to give my music to God, and that was hard, and that took a lot of trust in God because I decided to do Christian music, and knowing all these people in the country music world, having all these connections and everything, and then not knowing anything about the Christian music world or how to do that. And most of my songs that I've ever written have always been something other than Christian music. I've written some Christian music songs, but I felt at first like I can't write Christian music. And so anyway, now he's led me to this place, and I'm excited because the music that I sing has meaning. It has purpose, and I feel full inside when I sing this music, because I'm singing to God, and he loves me so much, and he's changed my life so much for the better. And I'm just so happy about what he's done in my life so far and where he's taken me and what he's going to do. I know that he has big plans, bigger than my plans, bigger than my dreams. And he's also shown me a lot of things about the path that I wanted to take. That I thought was the right path for me. The people that I thought I wanted to be with, they were not the right people for me at all. Even though I wanted so badly to be with those people, they were not the right people for me. And even though I wanted to make it in country music, that wasn't the right road for me. I see now how empty that path would have been for my life, and how unhappy I would have ended up being. And right now, I'm still on the road to where He wants me to be. I've not arrived, but I know that He has good things in store for me. So my point in all this is that if bad things have happened to you and your life is not turned out like you thought it was going to be, don't give up hope. Put your hope in God, because He has a good plan for you. And He uses the trials and the tribulations and the bad things that happen. He uses all of those things to refine your character, to make you who He wants you to be, to mold you, and to bring your life to a better place than you thought it was going to be. So back to the original topic, which was, if God is real, why does He allow evil things, bad things to happen to good people? The answer is because He loves you. He gives you free will. You have the free will to choose His plan or to choose your plan. If you choose your plan over God's plan, I guarantee you're going to have suffering. I guarantee you it's not going to turn out like you thought it was going to be. It's not going to be what you thought it was going to be. But if you choose His plan, if you choose Him, if you choose to walk with Him, yeah, you're still going to have really hard times. I guarantee you that. But I can guarantee you that He's going to give you the strength to walk through those, and He's going to lead you into a better plan than you thought could ever be in your life. And there's always going to be things that happen that we don't understand. But a lot of times it's a test. He wants to see if you really do love Him, if you really do trust Him, or if you look at Him like He's just a genie up there to grant your wish, and you only want to turn to Him when things are good, or when things are really bad, and you want to say, well, God, why didn't you fix this? Well, why are you not walking with Him? Why are you not pursuing Him? Why are you not getting up every morning and putting Him first? If you did those things, your life would be different. It would be different. And even when bad things happen, you would feel peace inside. Because, like I said, bad things are still going to happen. Everything's not going to be perfect just because you decide to walk with God. But He is going to lead you into a much, much, much better plan than you could ever have designed on your own. I guarantee you that. I guarantee. If He had allowed me to have things the way I wanted them at one point in time, I would have ended up dead, to be honest. I would have ended up dead if I had married. Okay, am I still on here? It said it was pausing. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So anyway, if He had given me my will in my life, then I would have ended up dead. If I had married one of the people I was going to marry, I might have ended up dead, because I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but he was a little crazy and, pulled a knife a couple times, and was trying to find a gun and stuff like that. So I was stupid for trying to be in that relationship. But if he had let that work out for me, I would have ended up in a really bad place. I would have ended up miserable, for sure, if nothing else. So, and if he had let me make it in country music, I would have continued to drink and do a lot of bad things that I shouldn't do. I would have ended up going down a bad road. So just remember that He's got a plan for you, and you don't see all the reasons why things don't work out, but He does. He knows the reasons, and it's because He loves you, that He is leading you in this way, and that He doesn't let certain things happen. He's looking out for you. So just be thankful, instead of getting mad at Him like I did. And I think that's a normal thing, because we're humans, and I think everybody probably gets mad at God at one time or another. So anyway, did you guys have anything to say about that on there? I see some comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's really good to hear from y'all. I'm going to do a worship song. Like I said, I want to do just I want to do a Bible study every morning. If you guys want to tune in with me the rest of this week, I'm going to try to start about 6:30, and I'm going to have scriptures and everything, and you guys can read with me, and we can talk on here if you guys want, and I can read your comments. And so I want to do some worship real quick. Let me get my guitar. Okay. I don't even know what songs I want to do yet, so I just want to worship a little bit. And I want to encourage you guys that if you're not getting up every morning and having a Bible study, I want to encourage you to put God first every morning. Get up and read your Bible, even if it's just for 5 minutes. It really will make a big difference in your life. To be honest, it's like food for your spirit, and you wouldn't go without eating food all day, would you? No, you wouldn't. So if you go without eating your spirit, if you go without feeding your spirit, you're going to feel empty and you're going to feel weak. So feed your spirit every morning. It really makes a big difference. This is a Lauren Daigle song. It's called Trust in You. It's one of my favorites. Letting go